a secta, it's a cult. No, it's a cult. It's a cult.
I was a Sea Org member as a child.
All right, we got to clear a path for else the cops are. They like to call the cops for everything, so, you know.
A private citizen, leave me.
The guy with the dog from 2 weeks ago. And he sicked his dog on.
Es una secta.
They got you, bro. They roped you in, bro.
Run away. Es una secta.
We need to call the police, for real.
It's about public safety. It's about making sure they don't get access to more future victims. And it's about healing.
Look at this fat piece of
Maybe the big bald-headed guy who says he's intimidating?
Did you call the cops? No, you have to. It's all on the film.
It's the people out there against the police.
This animal, this out-of-control LAPD officer right here.
Ex-Scientology!
They could go after you if you're their victim.
More officers started to come.
I'm trying to unscrew this. Where can I find your video?
It's crazy, man.
Anti-Scientology!
Welcome to BJ Investigates, a show I just created and might never do again. In last week's episode, we talked about, Pee Wee Herman. Some stuff you probably didn't know. Go check that one out. This week's episode, we're going to talk about a little bit of a current event. I guess it's not that current, but for some reason, about 3 months ago, you might have noticed that Scientology was all over the TikTok feed, all over the everywhere else feed, and it all resorted back to the fact that this guy who was a known practitioner of Scientology had been convicted or so. I'll put some clips here.
Former That 70s show star Danny Masterson, who was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison.
I'm paraphrasing. But this guy, Danny Masterson, he ended up getting in trouble, getting convicted of some pretty serious type of situation, type of crimes, type of things. And people then started to protest the actual Church of Scientology. Now, I did not research that case. I really wasn't interested in it at the time because I had other things going on. But at the time, I did notice about 3 months ago, someone was actually protesting outside the Church of Scientology.
There is a very well-attended protest underway as we speak outside of the Scientology Celebrity Center. This protest was organized by Alexa Nicholas of the channel Eat Predators.
Some people I follow, Eat Predators and Melanie Veronica, they had teamed up along with some other activists to go and protest outside of the Church of Scientology. And to be honest, in retrospect, 3 months ago, whenever they did that, I kind of was like, they are very brave for doing that, because Scientology has a reputation for being litigious and using lawsuits to harm people and all that.
So for today's video, I wanted to share with you the story about how Scientology possibly poisoned my pet dog, Phineas.
Anyway, I guess that's the intro. Let's just get into this video. So here's some footage of that protest. It happened. It was going on. But then, ever since then, apparently, people have been going with more frequency as the weeks and months have gone by to protest the Church of Scientology, in particular in the LA, I don't know, I guess they have maybe more than one location or something.
New location unlocked, guys. It looks like a freaking jail cell.
Approx 11 p.m. at the Scientology building.
All right, guys, this is where the bus brings them.
Because it didn't look like the same place they were protesting in the center. So they got a bunch of buildings they taken over. It's sprawling, apparently, or whatever. And I do want to just say, disclaimer, I don't know anything about the actual Church of Scientology. I really don't. I have read a couple pages of Dianetics because I like to kind of see for myself what the things say and all that. But I really don't know anything about the Church of Scientology. What I'm here to talk to you today about is a more recent development, and it has to do with a Scientology defector, but let me not get ahead of myself. So, like I said, about 3 months ago, I became aware, of these protests, and some stuff was going on with this Danny Masterson trial. I think he had been convicted or whatever. And then people have, and I didn't know this part, but apparently people have, with increasing frequency and increasing number of people, been going to different buildings in LA, whether it be the Church of Scientology, the Celebrity Center, one of their other buildings or whatever, and they're standing out on the public walkways and things protesting, which is a First Amendment right. Now, it can get a little bit tricky because it makes you wonder, is it especially protected because it's a place of worship or something like that? I don't want to get into the legal analysis, but sometimes there are variables that you have to consider, and that is one of them. Is it a place where people are, participating in a place of worship? Now, I do think the Celebrity Center might not be a place of worship. I don't know.
Oh, somebody's in the blinds. Look, they're peeking out. They're still peeking. You can see them. We see you. You're not sneaky.
I don't know. Maybe Legal Eagle can make an episode on that or something. But recently, one of the creators that I follow, Rabbit Down the Rabbit Hole News, she had kind of gone on a little bit of a Scientology coverage spree of sorts. There was a little bit of like internal disagreements or conflicts with former leaders of the Church of Scientology that have now left. They run this foundation. Aaron Smith Levin is the name of one of them. Mike or Mark Render, he's one of them. They all fighting with each other. And I kind of was like, I love Rabbit. You know, I watch her videos, but I didn't really feel the need to express my opinion on what was going on with that drama with those people. I mean, to me, it felt like ops. If you want my honest opinion, it felt like weird ops to like still protect Scientology. That's what it felt like to me at the time, just being honest. But whatever, I saw that was going on. Well, recently, Rabbit, like a couple days ago, Down the Rabbit Hole News, because I follow and subscribe to the channel, I got a notification that she was talking about somebody had got arrested at a Scientology protest.
And I said, if you have to arrest me in order to arrest him, then arrest me.
Now, in addition to that, she had also made another video interviewing someone who actually was born as a child into Scientology. And this person has his own personal disagreements with some of the people from the, it's all this stuff. And I kind of didn't want to get involved. And I never would have. I never would have. So in addition to all that happening, in the meantime, these protests have, like I said, increased in amount, number, size, and it's kind of gotten now to the point where they protesting every single day. And they're going live. And it's like some people are out there going live 4 or 5 times a day. To be honest with you, in my personal opinion, some of the tactics that I've seen on some individuals' channels, I do believe are a little bit aggressive. I think they're antagonistic.
Who cares if the cops come?
Was ist das Scheiße?
But in general, what I have personally viewed of these protests, it's well within the protected bounds of the First Amendment or whatever. Yeah, you can't tell who's who on top of that. And I've studied and also now have personal experience as the leader of several movements with movement infiltration tactics, like, the declassified COINTELPRO, Black Panther Party documents. If you haven't read those, you should give it a try. They are declassified. But yeah, it's basically there's like tried and true methods of stopping a social or human rights movement. And one of the tried and true methods is infiltration of the movement, because what you would do is you would pretend to be one of the group members, infiltrate in, perhaps become an officer, a leader, etc., co-opt it and take it over. You could infiltrate a movement just in order to be an intelligence agent, basically, right? Getting intel on what people are doing, using their weaknesses against them, etc. So when you're watching these live videos about the Scientology protests, some people do seem to be provocative on purpose, and they're like, oh, let's troll them. And it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's how the protesters are acting, maybe that's an infiltrator, but these are things that once you understand how movements work, you would immediately notice. So that's all been going on.
Laura, can we move just these things off of their
Why?
I guess their property.
It doesn't matter until the police officer tells me.
Which I find, marginally interesting, but again, didn't really have any need to make any public statements about it. That is until a few days ago, I think maybe 3 days ago at the time of the recording of this video, one such protest was going on. People were outside, and one of the protesters, or, the people outside, was Aaron Smith Levin, who has a YouTube channel that's very successful called Growing Up in Scientology. So before this whole debacle, I had not really seen too much Aaron Smith Levin. Like I said, I had seen him a little bit on Rabbit's channel, but I don't still to this day, I don't know too much about him. All I know is he was out there protesting, and a man walks by with a dog. We ended up finding out later that man's name is Patrick Perry. He walks by, he got a dog. Now the dog is wearing all kinds of service animal regalia, but it's not clear to me whether that dog is trained to be performing a medical function as is required by law. But basically this man, he walks by, we'll put the clip up, and we also will not be able to put up all these clips. Oh my God, she's like 82 pounds. My cat is obese, medically. So we'll be able to put up some of these clips. They are available online. We will not be able to show every single part of them. Just gets a little bit out of hand. Okay, so this man starts walking by the protest, and he has a dog, and it's wearing the regalia or whatever. And come to find out, this man, Patrick Perry, is known to be associated with engaging with protesters, anti-Scientology protesters, in an aggressive and violent way. In particular, 3 weeks before this incident, so about 3 weeks ago, this man, Patrick Perry, with the same dog looking like, Actually looks like the same outfit, but the video was posted 3 weeks ago. He's getting in a fight with another Scientology protester, right? Look, I mean, look right here. We're, again, it's going to have to edit it all up. But look at the title of the video. It says, what, Scientology Defender, whatever. I'm not looking at it right now. But it says Scientology Defender, and it's this man, Patrick Perry. It's obvious the same man. He's wearing the same clothes, and it has the same dog with the same regalia. It's not disputable. So this video has thousands of views. So he is at least minimally known to be associated with Scientology, and in particular, defending Scientology against protesters of Scientology. So this man, 3 weeks later, rolls by. Aaron Smith Levin's outside protesting along with others. Everybody's live. There's hundreds, if not thousands of people watching total. Patrick Perry walks by again. Again, at the time, known to these Scientology protesters as someone who is antagonistic, violent, and who has, on video with evidence, used the dog in a threatening and violent way in the past against Scientology protesters. Okay. So the guy's walking by the protest just a few days ago, and this is live streamed on many angles. He's walking by the protest, and Aaron Smith Levin, a former Scientologist who's now defected, he recognizes Patrick Perry and his dog, and he starts to film him and record him, which is, as we all know on this channel, completely legal and protected, actually. Protected activity under the First Amendment. Not only legal and okay and allowed. No. It's protected activity. You can record someone in public. Yes, you can. So in particular, I think, my personal opinion, the man had used the dog in a, violent way, in my opinion, looking at this video clip. And so he did need to be maybe displayed to the public. I'm glad I now know, if I ever see that man, to stay away from him. So Aaron Smith Levin starts recording him. I'll play the clip here, but basically he starts recording him. The man freaks out. A new Thetan fronted, alter switched into a new Thetan that was driving the ship, okay? The eyes of the man, deranged, demented, demonic. That's all. I mean, just the sheer and the thing that I find ironic, again, I'm no Scientologist by any means. I've read about 15 pages of Dianetics so far, but the number one thing they seem to be focused on in the first 15 pages is your whole entire life's worth of problems are a result of your reactive mind. Your immediate reactions to stuff based on things that happened to you in the past,
buried in your subconscious reactive mind,
is really what's making you miserable. That's what this book told me so far. And if you could just get a hold of that reactive mind and you be the one driving the ship, then you will win at life and be happier and whatever, fulfillment and whatever. Well, something to do with purpose also. Well, I mean, the thing about the people associated with Scientology publicly is that is literally the one thing that defines them, is none of them have any control over their reactive mind. So it's like, stop and go back to book 1, sir, Patrick. Go back to book 1, first 15 pages. Anyway, the man freaks out, completely freaks out. In my opinion, this is not legal advice, innocent till proven guilty. I'm not necessarily accusing anybody of any crimes, innocent till proven guilty, but in my opinion, just my layperson opinion over here, there are no fewer than 2 instances of battery and 2 instances of assault, all of which are at the felony level. Number 1, the man uses the cane as a weapon to swat an item out of Aaron Smith Levin's hand. Number 2, he uses his fist to make direct contact, punching Aaron Smith Levin, which is, in my opinion, felony battery. 3, it is felony battery because specifically he made a death threat. Effing KILLU? The only time I've ever heard anybody raise to that level for no reason at all whatsoever before was Shannonography, when she made a similar death threat against me and said if I made a video discussing her missing sisters with #human trafficking, she would give me a blanket party that I would never forget. Then the most deranged lunacy she said of the whole day, and this says 1 day ago, but this was really long time ago. This was months and months ago. I'd give a blanket party that you would not ever forget. If you know, you know. Well, I am not of the ilk of the type of deranged sociopath who just randomly uses blanket party as a threat. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what a blanket party was, so I went and looked it up. It's like this immediate jumping to the reactive mind. A different Thetan steps forward and runs amok. I really do not know. The man punched him and threatened to kill him. In my opinion, is felony battery. Not only that, he then intentionally let his large dog, seemingly directing it to attack Aaron Smith Levin, who he had already punched and hit and threatened to kill. Okay? This is textbook criminal behavior, innocent till proven guilty. But at the very least, the man needed to be booked and charged. Why? Why am I saying that? Because if we cannot know for sure that we are safe to walk around on literally the Hollywood Star Walk of Fame, exercising our First Amendment protected activity rights without being battered, assaulted, and threatened with our life, and a dog sicked on us without having somebody to call? What's the point of any of it? What's the point of a civilization at that point? I mean, I'm not even like Queen Law and Order, to be honest, but this is deranged. Well, he shouldn't have been following him with a camera. So maybe, I disagree with you. I do disagree. But maybe he shouldn't have been recording him with a camera. It's First Amendment protected activity. But I understand y'all want to be polite and stuff. Maybe even if I agreed with you that he shouldn't be following him with a camera, the solution is to batter him with a weapon, your fist, a dog, and threaten to Please, if you sincerely believe that, I invite you to unsubscribe. I don't want you around me. That's very weird that y'all think this is acceptable behavior. So now that they're gone, what in the hell is this?
Hey, watch your dog! No, you did! Stop using your dog as a weapon! Keep your dog away from us! No, nice try, you! On the topic!
Okay, so this isn't the worst part. There's already at this point rumors starting to swirl about that this man is hired by Scientology, which I don't know if he was or wasn't. I wouldn't be surprised to find it out because he does interact with Scientology protesters a lot, but he might just got anger problems, Patrick Perry.
That's the guy who used his dog as a weapon against the Squirrel Squad. Are you the guy who used your dog as a weapon against the Squirrel Squad? Huh?
Don't point that at me, number one. I don't know you. I don't give a f your agenda. Leave me the f alone. I'm a private citizen. Leave me the f alone for your own safety.
Well, I'm on a public sidewalk right here.
I don't give a f I'm not for you to be harassing me, asshole. Leave me the f alone. I'm a combat veteran. PTSD. Come. I will. Private citizen. Leave me the.
We're following you till you get arrested. We're following you until you get arrested. You're on. No, not keep trying. They're coming, boy.
Who you calling boy? You're racist.
I said boy. I'm a girl. You're a boy.
Hey.
Age 52.
He just bit me.
Hey, you're gonna hit the right one with that cane someday,
He just bit my finger.
Aaron Smith Levin justifiably, understandably, correctly calls the police, the LAPD, to report this battery, assault, and death threat.
They allow this crazy man back out. He literally assaulted me.
So what happened? We're live.
I know. I just told my whole stream.
Too bad. It's Laura FM. And I need to know from my friend. From my friend, I need to know quickly what happened.
It was the dude who used the dog.
The dog. I told him that.
So I was just walking behind him, and I came running up to me, whacked my phone with his cane, punched me in the head, and let his dog loose.
Where is he? What's going on?
He went that way.
Did you call the cop? No, you have to. It's all on the film. No, so somebody called. Let's go. Where's Streets LA? Yeah. No, it's okay as long as it's all on camera. This guy's going down.
Not only was I streaming the entire time,
oh my God,
my stream didn't even end when he knocked the phone out of my.
Perfect. This is perfect. This is great. Nope. This is why, guys. This is amazing. Yeah, we're gonna show you all what's about to happen. What happens when people that think that they are superior to the law, which is a Scientologist, who I was trying to give you a big whole hump hug.
It takes the police, the LAPD, over an hour, I think it was, I'll put the time here, to actually even arrive on the scene.
I want to stay next to the testing center. No, they can, but let's stay over here. Because they're going to keep an eye on him. Then they can arrest him over there. Dude, his dog literally bit me.
Once they arrived on the scene, I'll put a few clips in here, but the TLDR, and y'all should go watch all this stuff yourself, is that the police seem to just really not want to do anything about this threat. When the first guy showed up, RoboCop, Talman, this man deserves his whole own video. Okay, so who is LAPD Officer Tim Tallman? Okay, so because he seems to have some very sincere and legitimate problems, but he shows up on the scene like he's, Top Gun or whatever. And he's like giving he's doing it's like literally like a 1980s high school, like bully getting out of his convertible. Like that's what he thought it was or something. And And he gets out. He starts his, investigation. I think he was there for like 2 hours or something. They're all the cops maybe were there. Like the police were there for 2 hours. Maybe they were waiting for him to show up. But basically one of them, I think it's him, comes up to Aaron Smith Levin and says, hey, look, since y'all's stories are different, I'm gonna have to arrest you and bring you to the station if you want to press charges. And then he's like, well, but if you don't want to press charges, then I wouldn't have to do that.
If you would like the fellow arrested for the battery,
Yes.
We have no problem facilitating a private person's arrest.
Yes.
With you being that private person.
Yes.
At which point you will be required to go to court to make certain that you follow through with
Sure.
those elements of the arrest.
You got it.
At the same time, listening to his clarification of his side of the fact, I always say there's three sides of every story. What you say, what he said, and it's something in between.
It's almost like a threat to coerce the victim of this violent crime into not pursuing justice. I mean, I don't know. It's what it looks like to me. You tell me.
Okay, so just so you know, and he's saying that you were following him around. He repeatedly told you to leave. Let me finish before you interject.
I'm not going to interject.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Good. How are you? Good to see you. He repeatedly told you to stop following him around.
But Aaron Smith Levin then gets patted down, handcuffed, behind his back, even though he's the one who called the police to report this crime, this dangerous, violent crime. They put him in the car. This deranged lunatic starts emptying his pockets of what seems and appear to me to be weapons.
He has a weapon?
Yeah, he had 5 knives on him.
Just emptying his pockets. They're just letting him stand there with his dog. Look, he's the person that the LAPD was supposed to be investigating and asking questions and maybe, filing charges if they would just look at the videos. And it's kind of up in the air whether they watched the whole video or didn't watch the whole video. I mean, I have a whole live stream that I did for 4 hours on this. Y'all can go watch. But the TLDR, the long story short, they ended up bringing Aaron Smith Levin back to the police station, holding him there with handcuffs on in a holding cell for hours and hours.
I was there 4 hours total. So after the first 3 hours, I got to the point where my shoulders I was in a significant amount of pain. And there's something about being, handcuffed and shackled and attached to objects that really makes you feel like a criminal, like an animal. And for a while I was sitting there just feeling that I really had no rights, and I was basically should be, thankful if they were to ever release me. And the longer I sat there, the more I actually got just filled with rage and fury that literally for being assaulted, I was now being treated like an animal and being made to feel like this is what I deserved. I deserved to be treated like this. And I started to get furious. And I said, and I started to tell myself, I don't have to sit here in pain. I have rights. Like I'm in actual pain. For what? For what? Like for nothing.
Telling him that he was going to have to stay there all weekend. His lawyer showed up. They lied to the lawyer. The police officers, the LAPD lied to the lawyers, to Aaron Smith Levin's lawyer, and said, are you going to be booking my client? And they said, yes, we are. Calling them to report a threat of violence and a battery and assault. Then this deranged sociopath who should absolutely not have a gun on his belt for his job, Talman.
This animal, this out of control LAPD officer right here.
Who's got a very interesting father lineage, family tree, now that you mention it. But which eventually induced Tim to join Alcoholics Anonymous. And ding, 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 ding. He suggested to this rookie cop, teaching the rookie the new ways, teaching the new cop the ways of the law. He tells the rookie cop, go handcuff Aaron Smith Levin in the bathroom, on the bench in the bathroom where the other people are going to go in there and use the bathroom, the other inmates and the other people being held in here.
LAPD officer right here. He saw that I was being put into a tank and he came in and he told the rookie, he said, no. And I thought he was saying, no, we can't put him in here. We'll get in trouble for that. Let's get him to the detective. He said, no. Bring him over here. Cuff him to the bench in the bathroom. Lock him up in the bathroom. And I was like, and the officer himself, the rookie, didn't hesitate. He took me into the bathroom, which is an open bathroom, by the way. It's like, this is a police station. If you've been, this is where they let the prisoners go to the bathroom. And there's this dirty bench in there, and he wanted to handcuff me to the bench in the bathroom. So Tallman, it stands to reason, knew you're not supposed to use the bathroom as a holding cell. And keep in mind, guys, he was doing that with me. He took me out of a perfectly good, clean, empty holding cell to take me out and have me locked up in the bathroom.
This is LAPD, one of the most recognizable police forces in possibly the world, chaining people who call them for help to a bench in the bathroom where other people in the jail are going to use the bathroom. How much money do they get from the taxpayers every year? That's what I want to know. I think it's probably like $1 billion, something crazy. I'll put it up here.
And so I went in there and I was cuffed to that bench, and another officer came by and said, get him out of there. That's disgusting.
Anyway, it seemed pretty corrupt. And even if there is no connection between the Church of Scientology and the LAPD, that is corrupt enough. If somebody calls you as the police to protect their life after they've been battered and assaulted, you got to do something about it. And they just didn't. So of course that leads me to start looking into, are they connected? Is Scientology connected in some way? Some of y'all told me some stuff like the Church of Scientology is the largest individual donor to the LAPD, period. A few people said that in the chat yesterday. I'll see if I can find substantiating receipts. Otherwise, it's just something I heard. It could not be true. But then there's this article right here from a few months ago, not even a year ago, where the LAPD and the Church of Scientology are joining forces to fight the blue or whatever they're doing and talking about winning awards. It's like they sponsored this event and then they gave their own selves an award in conjunction with the LAPD. What it looks like to me. Then I was reminded they had a Super Bowl commercial, but that's neither here nor there. So it does kind of start to look like maybe there is some type of friendliness between the Church of Scientology and the LAPD. But then the LAPD puts out a press release about this whole thing. And I think what happened was that the story of this was a whole lot bigger and had a lot more tentacles than originally the LAPD or the Church of Scientology or any of it had originally anticipated. Because almost instantly, I mean, definitely within an hour of Aaron Smith Levin being detained and all that at the jail, people were calling up there. People were going up there. There was a protest outside of the jail. The cops were telling the protesters one thing, telling Aaron Smith Levin another thing. They were telling him they were going to keep him all weekend. But what I think happened was they realized if they would have tried to do that, they were going to be in a whole lot more trouble. Because they were trying, in my opinion, to intimidate him, rough him up, make him pay. The question becomes, why would they do that? That's why I started looking. What's the connection? What's the overlap? Is there a conflict? What's going on here? Another thing that people were saying is that the Church of Scientology is a large employer of off-duty police officers as private security. And so maybe it's, a large portion of people's income or something. I really don't know. That could be a possibility. But when I looked at their press release, it gave me pause because the things that they were saying in the press release, they didn't match up to what I saw with my own eyes on the body cam and on the internet and in public, on public record. For example, they said definitively that this Patrick Perry guy with the dog has no known affiliation with the Church of Scientology, but that's just not true. There's at least some known affiliation from 3 weeks ago when he was fighting on behalf of and defending Scientology in the streets on a video with thousands of views. The man does have at least some sort of association with Scientology. Yes, he does. So that led me to ask again, why are they lying? Well, maybe they're not lying. Maybe they just don't know. Then why would they say it with so much certainty instead of the Church of Scientology claims? A rep from the Church of Scientology has said, no, they didn't say none of that. They said the man has no known association or whatever. So I don't know. I found that to be troublesome because it made me wonder if they're willing to be so sloppy with just that simple, very easily disprovable fact. What else are they playing fast and loose with? Why did they arrest Aaron Smith Levin? Why didn't they arrest or charge the other guy at first until this whole protest thing went out? Why didn't they let the lawyer talk to him? Then at one point, one of the police officers apparently went into the cell and told Aaron Smith Levin that he was trying to unscrew it.
Let me be 100% crystal clear about this. I was not once, not even for a moment, interviewed in the police station. I was kept handcuffed with my hands behind my back, chained to a bench for over 4 hours. I was not asked any questions. I was not interviewed. I was not brought into a room with anyone who wanted to interview me. I was not asked questions which I refused to answer, not once. After the first hour and a half of me sitting handcuffed, chained to a steel bench, a detective Aludo came out and said, almost verbatim, he said, Aaron, hey, look, sorry, we're desperately trying to unscrew this as fast as we can. By the way, that's exactly what he said. To me, that was an admission that he knew this
was a big mistake and was very wrong.
So Aaron Smith Levin has stated that he will be filing a lawsuit against the LAPD and perhaps against Patrick Perry. I don't exactly know. I would encourage y'all to go follow him and subscribe to him because I'm sure he will be keeping everyone up to date as it goes along. But I did just want to signal boost this in particular because we have to hold our government and our public servants accountable. And again, this kind of all comes back to my appreciation too for people like Sean Paul Reyes, who does Long Island Audit, because I think those channels are really starting to show people what their rights are, where their rights begin, and where other people's comfort and urging you to be polite ends. The police cannot treat us like this, y'all. We cannot stand for this. I do not encourage any type of violence or any type of aggression or anything like that, but I do encourage you to peacefully redress your grievances with your government because this is how they treat us for doing things that are protected by the United States Constitution, the same Constitution that they promised and swore an oath to uphold. They swore an oath to the Constitution and they are locking people up for being threatened while exercising the rights protected by that same Constitution. It makes no sense. I'm not going to stand for it. Now, there's a couple other loose ends I might end up needing to tie up later. If I find more stuff, I'll come back and let y'all know, but really, my main purpose for this was to signal boost. I do not think this is acceptable. My main issue is with the LAPD. It doesn't actually matter to me one way or another if they have connections or ties to Scientology or not. What matters to me is when somebody is getting threatened credibly with their life, that you actually charge that violent, deranged lunatic with felony, battery, and assault. Y'all know they didn't even charge him with felony, battery, and assault. It was a misdemeanor they charged him with for that. For something I can't even show on YouTube. I can't even show y'all what he did. That's a misdemeanor. That's what the LAPD is saying. You can go to LA, walking on the Hollywood Star Walk of Fame, be attacked, battered, have a dog come after you, stand out there for 3 hours, be threatened to be arrested for reporting it, actually indeed be arrested, detained, kidnapped. It's unacceptable. That's the main point I really wanted to make today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean, okay, bye.
Into the bench, they called everyone into the office and everyone started running outside, pulling out their batons, and I thought to myself, those motherfuckers are outside. And the officer, the one who actually instigated all this, he stood at the door and he was like, your friends are here to break you out, Aaron.